everyone, welcome back to my channel, and today I present to you Chance in Heredity. My research is from the Encyclopedia of the Human Body. Chance in Heredity is just the same as when you're going to a fair and spinning the wheel. For example, you may see different colors on the wheel, so there's different chances of picking each color. Some things have more chances than others, but inside the human body, this happens too. Right from the start, when we are born, or even when we are fertilized from an egg, there are many different chances. Let's focus in. Twins are one of the outcomes of fertilization. Out of every 70 births, there are only one pair of twins. This happens because of a process called hyperovulation. Hyperovulation is when a mother releases more than one egg. Usually during egg releasing, the ovaries only release one egg, but hyperovulation means there's two eggs that are released. So when a sperm goes and fertilizes them, they both end up in the uterus, creating a type of twin, fraternal twins. But there is also another type of twins called identical twins, shown over here. Identical twins are more rare than fraternal twins. As you can see, identical twins only make up 0.3 to 0.4% of the entire population, while the fraternal twins population is 2 to 3%. The identical twins only uses one sperm and one egg, but once it is fertilized, it splits into two identical embryos and just keeps on splitting. As you can see in these diagrams, there is two babies, but in one of them they share a placenta, this pink organ, but in fraternal twins they have separate placentas. There are identical twins and fraternal twins have different traits. Identical twins will always be the same, no matter their physical appearance or their mental abilities, because they are identical and come from the same embryo. Meanwhile, fraternal twins may be different genders or even the same gender, but fraternal twins always have slightly different characteristics. Let's move on to our next fact: how we determine gender. When an egg gets fertilized, this is how we determine gender. We always get so excited when we find out if a baby is a boy or girl, but how do we do this? This is because an egg has a 50% chance of becoming a boy and a 50% chance of becoming a girl. A boy is made out of an X chromosome, so the sperm carrying either an X or a Y chromosome creates different genders of a baby. If a Y chromosome were to fertilize an X chromosome, which is always the egg, this creates a boy. A boy will develop their testes because the Y chromosome has these genes to develop the testes. But meanwhile, a girl is fertilized when an X sperm fertilizes the egg. The egg always has an X chromosome no matter what, but without the Y chromosome, this will lead the girl to develop ovaries. These are the two different types of chromosomes. As you can see, the X chromosome is much larger than the Y chromosome, which means that it holds more genes than before. So it makes up our physical and mental states overall. But not only do we have good genes that make up our good appearances, but also we have bad genes, which are not useful to us. Sometimes our chromosomes may inherit or damage or be mutated, which is shown over here. In this X chromosome, some parts of it can be damaged, which leads to different malfunctions in the baby. For example, this top circle, or if a mutation is located over here, this leads to a condition called cleft palate. Cleft palate is shown over here, and it is when an opening from your mouth to your nose is not completely sealed when you are born, which means it leaves a permanent gap. This is a real baby with cleft palate, but it can be treated when born with surgery. Our second gene mutation that can be inherited by chromosomes is hemophilia. Hemophilia only affects boys, however. It is the result of excess bleeding. So when someone bleeds a lot, this means that they might have hemophilia. Or if they bump into anything very easily, it's more likely a sign of this, because hemophilia will make boys very vulnerable to cuts. But when they actually leak out the blood, it is very hard to stop too. Our last one is the X chromosome circle at the very end. And if someone inherits this gene, it's called color blindness. Color blindness is a difficulty of telling two colors apart. For example, common ones include red-green color blindness and blue-green color blindness. These are some tests to know if you are colorblind. The animal ones are more likely for boys and girls, while these number ones are for adults. They can all be inherited from generation to generation. But speaking of this, how do we inherit traits? Sometimes you have blue eyes from your mother, but you might have your brown hair from your father. But why is this? This is because of inheritance, and some of the chromosomes will get inherited to different parts of the baby. Inheritance, for example, if a mom, which has color blindness or is a carrier of color blindness, has a color blindness gene, she might pass these traits on to the children. Therefore, she has a 25% chance of having a colorblind boy and a 25% chance of having a carrier daughter. The reason why the daughter does not have color blindness is because she has two X genes. In this picture, this is a red X along with a black X. And this means that this black X, which is the normal chromosome, blocks out the red chromosome, which has color blindness in it. So the normal X is more powerful than the gene with the color blindness. So she does not have color blindness. She only carries it, so her kids might have it. But meanwhile, if the boy or the mother's son inherits this red X, this means that he will have color blindness. This is because the Y chromosome is a very weak chromosome, so it is not enough to cover the chromosome that is infected. He will then have colorblind. But the two other people shown in blue are uninfected daughters and sons. This is inherited because the uninfected father gives his chromosomes along with the mother, who gives her uninfected chromosome down to the kids. That is inheritance. But sometimes people will have extra chromosomes. There's a lot of changes when people have extra chromosomes, but this may be because of an egg having a malfunction when it is dividing, which leads to an extra chromosome. There are lots of different kinds of chromosomes, but specifically I'm going to talk about chromosome 21. Normally, a human will have two of these chromosomes, but when a third or an extra one appears, this leads to Down syndrome. Down syndrome is shown with all these people here, and you notice that they all have the same kind of traits. They have flattened facial expressions while also having little folded corners on their eyes. But even with Down syndrome, they are still very normal people, even though they don't look like it. Most go on to lead fulfilling lives. As a result, I think our chance in heredity is so fascinating because I never knew that when we are fertilized, there's a 50% chance of being a boy and 50% chance of being a girl. There's so much in chance in heredity, and I hope you like and subscribe to my channel.